Hi, everybody, it's summer. And this teacher is so excited for summer. If you can't tell, it's summer. My face looks relaxed. My eyes have less dark circles, the power of makeup and summertime. Oh, Florida summer starts like in May, the weather, but the summertime lack of school starts now. It's so exciting. I love summertime. I don't like not being able to go outside very much. Fun fact, Floridians actually get seasonal affective disorder in summer more often because we can go outside more in winter, but we actually, for the most part, don't go outside as much in summer. And so a lot of people get diagnosed with SAD in the summertime because we stay inside. And you northerners who come down for like vacations in the summertime, and we don't understand. But anyway, so we have a lot of inside time, and this is when I'm off. I do teach summer school and do some other things, but this is when I have my time. And so I do some things, and I read a lot during the summer. This is my reading time. So I am so excited. I'm going to tell you my summer plans and what I'm reading. I plan out my summer and some books and stuff, so I'm excited. You're going to understand my Cite Your Sources books because I do a lot of learning myself in the summer. This is when I refresh myself, and I love learning. I especially do my history refresh in the summertime to prepare for the next school year. So let's talk about it a little bit. So what is my overall plan? First of all, I always pick two topics in American history as an American history teacher that I feel like I'm weak in, 2 to 3 topics, and I want to learn more about to better teach my students, to better understand and have a better understanding for myself, and just to learn more. So then I also have a summer reading challenge of some kind for myself to kind of focus my reading. And then I do a lot of mood reading. So I also do some nonfiction reading, just beyond that. And I take a couple of classes myself on usually history classes for teachers. Sometimes they have to do with the subjects I'm learning more about myself. Sometimes they don't. When they don't, or on top of, I usually have nonfiction books and historical fiction books that I use to kind of teach myself. So I try to also do some classics over the summer just to read. And let me grab them. I have a couple picked out. I know 2 that I want to do, 1 that I might do, but I might need some suggestions. I would love to hear suggestions from you all. So if you could comment below with your suggestions for me, I would love to hear it. The first one I know I want to do, and I've wanted to do this for a while, and I haven't had time during the school year. I want to read Rebecca by Daphne and I'm going to butcher this. Du Maurier? If you have a better idea, tell me. They say this is like one of the first or one of the best Gothic novels. It's in the 1800s, and she is a second wife. It's originally published in 1938. Alfred Hitchcock did a version of it. I cannot wait. I'm so excited to read this. I just haven't had a chance to really. They say you have to just kind of marinate in it, and I'm so excited to continue kind of my dark, because I love dark and I love twisted. I have Shirley Jackson's Dark Tales. I got this from a indie bookstore that's like an hour away from me. Shirley Jackson is one of my favorite American authors. So I'm going to be reading this summer. To continue dark, I thought about reading Macbeth this summer. I own this, but I'm not sure if I'm going to. So I need something different. I have all this dark classics, and I think I need something different. So tell me a classic. You know, I have a lot of reading, so I would like something a little shorter. Tell me a classic I need to read. So that's where we're at. I need to know a classic I need to read. So I tried to also do some classics over the summer just to read. And let me grab them. I have a couple picked out. I know 2 that I want to do, 1 that I might do, but I might need some suggestions. I would love to hear suggestions from you all. So if you could comment below with your suggestions for me, I would love to hear it. The first one I know I want to do, and I've wanted to do this for a while, and I haven't had time during the school year. I want to read Rebecca by Daphne and I'm going to butcher this. Du Maurier? If you have a better idea, tell me. Um, I, they say this is like one of the first or one of the best Gothic novels. It's in the 1800s, and she is a second wife. Um, it's originally published in 1938. Alfred Hitchcock did a version of it. I cannot wait. I'm so excited to read this. I just haven't had a chance to really. They say you have to just kind of marinate in it, and I'm so excited to continue kind of my dark, because I love dark and I love twisted. I have Shirley Jackson's Dark Tales. I got this from a indie bookstore that's like an hour away from me. Shirley Jackson is one of my favorite American authors. So I'm going to be reading this summer. To continue dark, I thought about reading Macbeth this summer. I own this, but I'm not sure if I'm going to. So I need something different. I have all this dark classics, and I think I need something different. So tell me a classic. You know, I have a lot of reading, so I would like something a little shorter. Tell me a classic I need to read. So that's where we're at. I need to know a classic I need to read. Before I get into like all my nonfiction that I do for my summer stuff and for my learning, I want to talk to you about my summer reading challenge that I am so excited about. So I am doing the summer reading challenge by the same person that I do my year reading challenge for this year, which never happens, but she posted this and I was so excited. I'm going to link it down below, her video talking about this. It is by Chantel Reads All Day. I have been enjoying her videos, and this is kind of just, if you, the general idea, but what she does is she just does these one-word prompts, and you just kind of pick a book off of the vibe. And I've done a lot of challenges. I don't necessarily know that I would do this every year, but I'm enjoying it at this moment in my life because I have a lot of books, and her challenge has really helped me this year to explore the books that like I have in my TBR, and I really enjoyed the prompts that she had for this summer. So that's what I'm doing. She does have a giveaway going on with it. I'm going, like, again, I said, I link it down below. So I'm going to tell you what the prompts are, and I'm going to show you the books that I have to go with it. This is going from June through August. However, August is very busy for back to school for me. So I'm going to try to knock out most of mine in June and July. I will post a June reading videos. I'm still deciding how I want to do that for summer. And my TBR cards will help me pick which ones I do in June. Some I will definitely do in June. Some I will definitely do in July, but they'll help me pick other things. So let's start. The first prompt, and I'm going to be posting these on Instagram all pretty, but the first prompt we have is country. Now, I live on the edge of what a lot of people consider the country, and I have found this indie author at a book festival I went to, and she wrote a story based on the country. I grew up kind of in the rural country area of Florida, so The Takings is by this indie author, Sandy Will. I've been wanting to read it. It is a modern-day Jekyll and Hyde psychological thriller that will have you pulling for the madman. In the murky swamps of Central Florida, a boy vanished on the way home one night. No one heard his screams, no one saw him struggle, and the police have no answers. At age 15, Adrian Webster lost his younger brother in a tragic accident. He tried to mourn, he tried to move on, but all he could do was bury the pain. Again, it's set up like in the swamps. So a lot of people think Florida is all like Miami, Orlando, big city and beaches, but it's not. There's a lot of us that live in rural or live in the swampy area. And I just love to embrace books that are like that. I love indie authors. I'm going to start reading more of the first sentence. I love when I watch videos with this. The light from Wyatt's bike bounces through the woods as he races along the path he knows well. Okay, so this is country. And this is, by the way, called The Passport to Summer Reading. So country is by Sandy Will, The Takings. And that is a duology, which I'm excited about. Next one is Journey. And this is also going to be my summer reading challenge. My July reading challenge book for her Read Your TBR. but I currently cannot find the book. I know where it is. I know what it looks like. It's called The Exiles. I will find it at some point. It is somewhere. It's called The Exiles, and I'm really excited to read it. It's just not in front of me at the moment. So when I find it, I will show you in July with my July video. But it's called The Exiles. It is about Australia. And it is somewhere in my vicinity right now. But like I said, I have books everywhere at the moment. I'm rearranging my bookshelf some, doing some deep cleaning, and oh, I found it. Told you, books everywhere. The Exiles. The Read Your Bookshelf Challenge has a map, a book with a map, and this is Van Diemen's Land, it says. It's set in Australia, 1840. And this is a journey. So the summer reading is a journey. The Read Your Bookshelf Challenge is a map. So I'm going to be reading this in July. Okay, Flowers is the next one. And I'm also going to be doing a little bit of learning about Hispanic American history. And this is a book I have brought up in other videos because I've been wanting to read it for so long. And like every time I go to read it, it is not the right timing. It is the right timing. I will be reading it this summer. And it has flowers on the cover. I am going to do it. The Lost Story of Eva Fuentes by Chanel Clayton. For my summer reading, I am doing this. It's not a long book. I don't know what has gotten into me, but this is a book I will read this summer under my summer reading passports. Also, I just want to say for this passport, she also has made Instagram pictures for you to use and post on Instagram. And this is so pretty. This is just the overview I'm using to get organized myself. I'm going to cut them out and put them into my reading journal so I can get organized. But she has ready-made stuff for Instagram, which I love. The next one is Home, and this is going to be probably the first one I do because it's a library book and it's due beginning of June anyway. And it's a book I'm excited about, The Mountains We Call Home. And it's the latest in the Bookwoman's legacy, the Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek. And so this is my home. And I'm very excited. Let's see what the first line is on this one. Somewhere among the nestled fissures and cradling dark blue bluffs between towns such as Hazard, Helferstarten, Kingdom Come, and Troublesome comes the Bookwoman. Okay. Oh, wait, that was not chapter 1. That's prologue. I'd like to do chapter 1. There was no undoing the crime of my pertinacious heredity. That I'm so excited. I love the Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek and the second one, which I cannot remember the name, but I've loved those. Okay, Water. This one also is June because this is my Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, also by Chantel Reads All Day. I will link her channel as well as the video down below. This is my book for that. It's also going along with my... slightly going along with my nonfiction research I'm doing. It's The Daughter of the Merciful Deep. I have heard about this book, and I am so excited to finally read it. And the prompt for the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge for the year is a book with 5 or more words in the cover, Daughter of the Merciful Deep. This prompt for summer reading is water. And Jane Edwards hasn't spoken since she was 11 years old when armed riders expelled her family and every other black resident from their hometown. Now, 12 years later, she's found a haven in the all-black town of Awensasa. But the construction of a dam threatens to wash her home under the waters of a new lake. Jane will do anything to save the community that sheltered her. I'm really excited about this one, and I happened upon it in a bookstore. I was having a hard time finding it, and I dug it out on a shelf in a bookstore, and I've been wanting to read it, and this is the perfect kind of moment to read it. And it goes along, I'm going to talk a little bit more in a minute about what I'm studying, but I felt like it was just kind of the right fit. So this will be a definite June book for me. Okay, the next one is Wildlife, and she was very adamant, it can be anything to do with wildlife, as long as it's not a pet. And I have to be honest, I went a little, she's always said, you can kind of interpret this how you want. So I went a little bit iffy on my interpretation, and y'all can say that you're iffy on my interpretation too. But if I find a book Like if a book of mine comes in from the library that has a better interpretation, I might go for it. But this is what I'm going for right now. And I took the snake on ninth house to be my wildlife, partially because I am terrified of snakes. And so me holding this book is just a little bit terrifying. So I am accepting this as my wildlife. And it's about Yale. I've just kind of heard really good things about it. A secret society at Yale. So let's see chapter 1. What is my first? Alex hurried across the wide alien plain of Beinecke Plaza, boat sledding over flat squares of clean concrete. Okay? Okay, so next is trees, and I'm currently reading an arc on my Kindle of The Birthing Tree by Amanda Peters. She is the same person who wrote The Berry Pickers, and this is set, it's like among the same indigenous people group as The Berry Pickers, and they mention the family of the Berry Pickers, but it's not the same. It's not a sequel. You can read this without reading the Berry Pickers. It is so far, and I will finish it in June so it can be part of this summer reading. Beautiful, and it's about grief and loss along with heritage and family, and it's talks about her childhood and young adulthood, and now she's in her 40s, I believe. I've really enjoyed it so far. It's very different from the Berry Pickers, and I went into it thinking I was getting something like a sequel to the Berry Pickers, and it's not that at all. But I'm really looking forward to it coming out. I'm looking forward to finishing it. I'll probably do a video review of it, and I've really enjoyed it. Reading it on my Kindle and looking forward to finishing it, and then doing this for this summer reading. And it was perfect because trees is the prompt for The Birthing Tree. Next one is 5 W's: who, what, where, when, why, and how. So that's got to be in the title, which I think is a really neat prompt. And so I'm going to do The Girl Who Was Taken, which if you watched my part 1 and 2 of my blind date with a book that I was so excited about, it was this one. And I've been wanting to read this. I want to try some Charles Donnelly. I've read one of his and I loved it. And he just had another one called Guess Again that was released. And I've been wanting to read this book for so long. So I am really excited for this one. So who would be the prompt, The Girl Who Was Taken. I'm really excited for this book. The next prompt is books. So a book about books. And this is a book that I happened upon the sequel to it, fell in love with the cover, then read the synopsis and was like, I love it, found out it was a sequel, tracked down the original book, and the first book in the series is the Physic Book of Deliverance Dane, and it is like Salem witch trials, but also historical witch. It's really neat sounding. But there's not much summary on the back of the cover. So Salem, Massachusetts, 1681. Fear and suspicion lead a small town to unspeakable acts. Marblehead, Massachusetts, 1991. A young woman is about to discover that she is tied to Salem in a way she never imagined. I keep forgetting to read the first line of books. I will get used to doing this. Chapter 1. It would appear that we are nearly out of time, announced Manning Chilton, one glittering eye fixed on the thin pocket watch chained to his vest. I love Salem witch trials. I love learning about the fact that it was women who were lower place in society and the classism that comes with the Salem witch trials. So I am excited. I want to go back to The Girl Who Was Taken and see what is the first line because I'm curious. Why forensic pathology? That's The Girl Who Was Taken's first line. Okay. I think those are going to be really good books. They're both books I've wanted to do for a while. So the next prompt is sun. I was really torn on what to do for sun, because I just don't have a book with a big sun on it. But this is one, and y'all can come for me that this does not have a picture of the sun, but I felt like this picture, The Last Carolina Girl, the sun is just beating down on her, and it like the sun just adds to this picture so well that I just felt like I had to do it. And this has to do with the eugenics program in the United States of the 1930s. And she is forced into what we call forced into servanthood of the 1930s, taken from her family, and then thrust into the state eugenics board. And I've been wanting to read it. So let's see the first chapter. Most mornings, Daddy was already gone by the time sleep released me. So, okay, first, but I've heard very good things about this book. I haven't heard anything about it in a while, but it's been on my shelf for a while, and I just felt like the sun just adds something to this book, and the sunshine, and so I'm counting it. The next one is Summer. I had two book options for this, and I'm still really torn on which one I'm going to do. So let me show you both my options. The first one is It's Not Her. And I picked this one because it's like the perfect summer book. It's at a summer camp, right? It's a murder at a summer camp. And everybody's talking about it. And I feel like I've kind of saved it for summer because I started to read it and I was like, this is just screaming summer to me. So then I also had We Are All Guilty here because it happened, like the situation happens on 4th of July. So I'm going to hold both of these out and not decide which one. But both of them count for summer, and I don't know which one I'm choosing yet. It's going to be a game time decision, as I like to say. And this last one, I know I said I was going to do it in May. But then I got this list on this last prompt, and I was like, no, I have to do it for this. And I can't do it till June 1st, which is killing me, because to me summer is May, because I'm in Florida. And Chantel reads all day. She's in Canada, so her summer hasn't started. Snow just stopped falling a few weeks ago, and for me, I'm all like, it's in the 90s and hundreds here. We're well into summer. But this is going to be one of the first I read. Skylark, I'm going to do it because of the wings. I kept trying to pick it up and being like, I can't do it till June now. I can't do it till June. So that's my summer reading challenge books. I will be doing a June reading, so I'm trying to decide which of, probably the TBR cards help me decide. I've got a few of these books I'm definitely doing in June. But I'm going to let the cards help me dictate beyond that. I do read, like usually about 20 books a month in summer. So we'll see, what happens. And so now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about like the nonfiction books I'm reading, because I do enjoy that, and they really add to my time frame. So and then we'll see how many books I read in the next months. So, for those of you who don't know or haven't seen before, I am a high school history teacher. Along with this page, I also teach high school English. Just kind of because I have that dual knowledge. I have a degree in history with a focus on American women's history, and also a focus on social class and labor history. But my main focus has always been women's history. I am very passionate about Black history as well, and I am learning more about other minorities as well currently. And so that leads me into what are the topics I'm learning this summer, which I want to say I'm excited. Excited may not be the right word. I am apprehensively looking forward to gaining the knowledge. I love gaining history knowledge. I love learning more, and I love being able to bring that into my classroom. So what am I going to be learning more this summer? First of all, in June, I always try to do one, something to do with something I feel like I'm really lacking in, and that's what I focus on. And the one thing I feel like I really need to bring in my classroom, and that is more Florida history, especially when it comes to Florida racism and Jim Crow laws and post-Reconstruction Florida history. And so that's what I'm really focusing on in June. So what books? I have some books. The Reformatory is kind of the book that everybody knows about when it comes to this, but I'm going to be doing a lot of nonfiction. When it comes to these topics, these are like my nonfiction topics. So the main one I'm going to start with is Devil in the Grove. Gilbert King has a bunch of Florida nonfiction books about this. This is the first one I'm going to be doing. It's about Thurgood Marshall, the Groveland boys, some boys that were accused of rape and were innocent of it in Florida. A lot of people don't talk about Florida when they talk about like the civil rights movement, Reconstruction, but it was actually considered the worst, if not one of the worst areas, and we don't discuss it enough. So I do bring that up. I do talk about Florida some, but I want to really hone in on it. I am going to be either reading the Nickel Boys or the Reformatory, very likely at some point. I've already requested a huge stack from my library, and thankfully my library is a great library for resources. I have a huge stack currently going. I'm going to be learning about the Dozier School for Boys, which is what the Reformatory and the Nickel Boys is about. I did request We Carry Their Bones with Them, which kind of the Reformatory, that's the nonfiction book that the Reformatory was written about. So I'm going to be going there. And then just reading some other books from different universities, and written about other racism and Jim Crow laws and other things around my state in Florida so that I can teach about it next year. So that's my June focus. I'm going to be taking a class on Hispanic American history and studies, and also going to be taking some books on those. I'm going to be reading, and I'll talk about that in a minute, a Chanel Cleaton book. And I do typically do that. I'm going to be reading at some point The Great Divide. I don't know if that's this summer, though. It's about the Panama Canal. But that's not main focus. I am taking a class on it. After talking to some of my Hispanic American students, they asked me, could we do more Hispanic American studies in the future? And that really got to me. So I will be doing that. And then in July as well, I teach the second half of American history, and it's been years since I've taught the first half. So I realized with this 250th year since the first 4th of July that I need to kind of refresh myself on the women of the Revolutionary War and the French and Indian War. So I will be reading A Founding Mother by Stephanie Dray in July. And then I will be doing just some refreshing on women of the Revolutionary War, very likely taking a class on it, and the French and Indian War, just kind of re-upping it a little bit. But my main focus this summer will be Hispanic American history and racism in Florida. So that's my nonfiction. I also plan to read, just for the fun of it. Where did that go? I have books everywhere right now. I'm just so excited for this summer. I just kind of have been putting books. History of the World in 21 Women. I also have a History of Britain. Dropping books everywhere, folks. In 21 Women, I'll read one of both of these is my plan. If you haven't seen this series, I love this for young adults. I want to put it in my classroom next year, so I plan to read it. If you have boys or girls, I think they should be reading. This is great for history series. So I plan to put this in my nonfiction reading as well. I have a very hopeful book list for this summer. So that's my nonfiction theory, hope, desires for this summer. I usually get a huge stack of nonfiction books when I'm deep diving into something, when I have a hyper focus, when I want to deep dive into learning. And I go from there. And we'll see what happens. I may or may not do more of a video on it. If anyone's interested in what I learn about or you want to hear, please let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll do a little bit more of a deep dive into it in a video if you want to learn more about what I'm learning about, or you want to hear what I've learned.